Welcome to another episode of SJS Talks Art. So today I'm gonna talk about my art consumption in December. So I'm mostly gonna talk about my film watching and TV show watching of December so far. Then I'm also gonna give you a couple of album recommendations. I'm gonna talk about the manga that I read a few days ago a little bit, and then I'm gonna talk about one of my weird dreams. And the only reason I'm bringing that dream up in this video is that the dream is relating to Tale of Winter, the Eric Rohmer film, and that's one of Peaches' favorite films, so that's the only reason I'm talking about that dream, as Peaches might find that interesting. But anyway, it's a pretty fucked up dream anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna start by talking about my recent um, watches. And by the way, this is only kind of a part one of my December wrap up thing. I think I'm gonna do a second part to this maybe the first day of January, because I'm still planning to watch lots of stuff in the last few days of December. And I might read something, and I'm also kind of now been listening to lots of the albums that came out this year, as I want to do the top list for that, although I'm still kind of trying to figure out how I'm gonna do the top list. I think I'm probably gonna do a top 10 plus dozens of honorable mentions, because it's really hard to do like larger rankings, especially as I don't have time to listen to every single album that many times. Yeah, so probably top 10 plus lots of honorable mentions, but we'll see. And if you guys have any ideas for what the format should be for that, you can suggest something. Yeah, anyway, let's go to my film diary on Letterboxd now. By the way, I really like my channel, not channel, but my Letterboxd profile. Look at the moment. Yeah, it looks so gay in a good way. That kind of rhymed. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, let's go to the beginning of December. Obviously, I mentioned in one video early in the month that I'm gonna do queer mass, watch lots of queer stuff, and that's what I've done, and I still want to keep doing that. But I got started my queer mass by this recent film called Off on Age by Goran Stolevski. It's an Australian movie, and it was quite good. I really enjoyed it. I especially love this character that you have in the middle. I kind of fell in love with him. He was so charming and quite hot in the film. I really like this character. But the main character is actually this guy on the right. He's a dancer, and this woman is the sister of the guy in the middle. And we kind of see their relationships. We see them doing things together, and again, these two guys are gay, and they have a little bit of a romance there as well. And there's a reference to the great Wong Kar-wai film, my favorite Wong Kar-wai film, Happy Together, and then there's some references to great literature and stuff. But this was one of those really nice, kind of low-key slice of life dramas with that kind of tender romance in there. It's not like a very unique film, but it pulled off that kind of indie low-key romance slice of life thing really well. Visually, it's nothing that special. I mean, it looks pretty good, but not like amazing. The performances are really good, and again, I think the actors have great chemistry, and that's where the strength of this film lies. And the gay thing, it's not like the most kind of the key focus on the film, but it's definitely there, and there is that little bit of that discussion that what gay relationships are like and stuff. Yeah. And these two gay guys, they have quite a way different personalities. Again, the guy in the middle is a bit more open about it, and then the dancer is kind of, yeah, he's still kind of questioning himself and trying to discover himself and stuff. And there's also this big time jump in the film, but it's done quite well, I would say. But yeah, the guy in the middle was the highlight for me. He was my favorite character. And again, the guy is quite hot to me, so yeah. And this scene that you see in the poster was quite powerful. Yeah. But I would definitely recommend this. It's not a great film, but it's a good film and definitely worth watching, especially if you like kind of those low key dramas, slice of life films, and weird films, etc. Yeah. Then this next film is a short film that I watched on YouTube called See You Soon. Again, another queer film. It's about these two young gay guys that, again, they've met on a dating app, but then they finally get to meet each other in real life and spend a weekend together. It's a very tender, beautiful movie and also authentic. It feels really authentic, but it's also really sad in the end as they can only spend a weekend together, so it makes you feel like shit in the end, but really well executed. Short film. Again, short films, I often find short films to be okay at best, but this was definitely good and I enjoyed watching it. I related to it. I found it really beautiful and tender. Yeah, and sad. Really sad. Yeah, I would highly recommend this one. It's a 17 minutes, so quick watch. Less than an anime episode, so yeah. Well, this next one I don't have that much to say about. It's on Netflix, so that's how I watched it. But yeah, it's a gay film. So this again, there's a this husband character who dies, and his son is his son is again living with his like the his father's woman or girlfriend. Then they find out things about the dead father that he was actually gay and he was sleeping with this man and it again. But then the guy he was sleeping with kind of gets involved with the son with the whose father died and then the woman and there's these interesting relationship dynamics there. But this was really well shot film, overall well made film, interesting plot, but the kind of thing that pulled it down for me was the characters. I didn't really like any of the characters and I couldn't really relate to the characters. I mean, the performances were fine, but I just didn't like the characters. But it's definitely good and stylistic movie and worth seeing. And definitely, when you consider that Netflix is full of shit movies and mediocre movies, this actually still stands out from the crowd there as the overall quality in Netflix is quite poor. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, pretty good movie. But yeah, could have been better. Yeah. Then I rewatched the Green Ray, but that one I talked a bit about in a recent podcast, so I'm not gonna go into it. But I again love Rohmer, and this is one of Rohmer's best films. Yeah, and while it feels like a pretty bleak film overall, it has a hopeful ending. Yeah. Then this one I liked quite a bit. The Last Black Man in San Francisco by Joe Talbot. I think this was kind of one of those again vibe American indie movies that has a kind of a nice vibe and atmosphere and that kind of really pulls you in. Again, the plot is pretty simple. Again, these two friends want to buy this house that again this guy's grandfather had built. Yeah, it's this really nice house in San Francisco that's worth like I think millions or something. Was it 4 million or something like that? Yeah, but yeah, okay, well acted movie, nice vibes and atmosphere, quite beautifully shot. Yeah, good movie. Again, I didn't love it or anything, but I liked it quite a bit. Yeah, I don't have that much to say about it. But it's basically about again, like the one of the characters says near the end that you cannot hate San Francisco if you don't love it first or something like that. It's kind of about that kind of love and hate relationship with the city and also how you want to belong there, but you don't belong there anymore and how you still kind of love the city even though you kind of feel this kind of alienation and this feeling of not belonging there. So there are some interesting themes there. Yeah. And yeah, this time mentioned in the Queer Mass watch list. But this is this kind of classic or modern classic, stupid Finnish movie about these four brothers who have a crazy father and they rob these gas bombs and then a bank and post office and everything. And yeah, they look very gay even though they're brothers and all of them are straight. Yeah, but yeah, this was a fun nostalgia watch. Although the one downside is that now I've had the Rasmus song. If you remember this Finnish band called the Rasmus, they're one of the most famous Finnish bands like overseas. And they have this song called In the Shadows, which is their most famous song. It has like 170 million streams on Spotify, so it's quite popular even outside Finland. So if you were young in the early 2000s, you might have heard that one. It's this one. Yeah. And I've had to listen to it even though it's not a very good. I mean, it's kind of catchy and stuff, so in that way it's good, but it's that kind of poppy, like indie rock thing or whatever. Like it's not really my cup of tea in general, but I liked that as a kid, and yeah, I was very interested to hear if anybody in the audience has heard that one. As I know, again, they've toured the whole world, and they were pretty big. I know outside of Finland too. And that's probably one of the most streamed Finnish songs in Spotify. In the Shadows by the Rasmus. It's definitely probably like top three most famous Finnish songs internationally. I mean, I guess Darude's Sandstorm is probably a bit more famous, as it is kind of a meme still to this day. But I don't think that many people actually don't know that the Sandstorm is Finnish, but it is Finnish. Yeah, what a thing to be proud of here. Yeah, Sandstorm by Darude. But anyway, it is a fun movie, but again, sadly, I don't think it's available outside of Finland, although it says here that it's available on Amazon on disc. So maybe it is actually available. So I don't know. Well, go watch it if you can. It's actually really fun. It's fun, stupid movie. Yeah. Well, it's really kind of already a bit dated and like I was really kind of turned off how it was shot. Like it has these like weird edits that there's a shot and then they do these kind of weird zooms in and out and like it looks like really bad. From a visual standpoint, very amateurish, kind of nonsensical, but the plot and the characters are really fun. Yeah. Yeah, so I've watched quite a lot of anime, and this was the really good anime, gay anime from last year called Sasaki and Miyano. So this is one season long anime, 12 episodes, so around 4 hours. Although I think I've heard that they might be doing more of this, and it really wraps up nicely in the end. Although at the same time, it kind of feels like a new beginning. So I would love to see another season for this or a movie or something, but we'll see. But it's about these two high school students. One of them is year older. Again, the guy on the left is year older. They are both gay. The guy on the left, who's a bit older, he kind of realizes that he's gay earlier, and he falls in love with this younger guy. And then they become friends, and then the guy on the left tries to make the guy on the right realize that, or not realize, but fall in love with him. And but there's this kind of constant talk about whether the younger guy is also gay or not. But the younger guy actually reads like boys in love manga all day, every day. So it kind of feels like that he's gay, but he doesn't realize that he's gay, even though he reads that stuff like every day. But yeah, he's gay in the end. So you can probably expect from that plot. But yeah, this is like a very wholesome, very cutesy, very positive love story. I really enjoyed this one. It has one of the most tender and one of the most beautiful and cutesy final episodes I've ever seen. Like it made me feel so good and happy. It really made me feel like life is kind of worth living and life is beautiful. It was one of those endings. It was just so wholesome and beautiful. I mean, I guess you can probably kind of guess that when I describe the plot, that what the ending will be like when I describe it like that. But I would really recommend this to everybody who loves romance and who loves kind of slice of life stuff. It's also really funny, and yeah, maybe the only problem I have with it is that it gets a bit repetitive. Kind of all the episodes kind of feel a bit samey in a way, but it's really beautiful and cutesy, and the animation is really nice as well. Yeah, really good too. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. And here you can see where you can watch it. So Amazon, Crunchyroll, etc. Even Funimation. Yeah, this is one of the cutest things I've ever seen in my piece of shit life. Like that's kind of how I felt too. So I put the like to that. Yeah, yeah. Lots of interesting reviews on Letterboxd. Yeah, but great stuff. Great stuff. I really like this. And I think sometimes this is translated Sasaki to Miyano, but here it's Sasaki and Miyano. Yeah, but yeah, really good. And I will watch that again sometime, and hopefully it will get another season or a movie, like I said. Yeah. Then I don't really have anything to say about this, but this is a pretty famous animated film called The Red Turtle. Um, but this was again the animation was, I guess, beautiful on its own in its own way, but not necessarily my type of aesthetic. But a very kind of simple story. Not much happens, and like it says here, it's kind of dialogueless. Although I think there was like few words here and there, but basically dialogueless. But yeah, it's kind of beautiful, but not necessarily my cup of tea. As I said again, I have a kind of different type of aesthetic for my preferred animation and stuff, but it's still good. Definitely worth watching. La Tortue Rouge. Yeah, I prefer this name for it. Yeah, good stuff. Worth watching, but not a favorite. Yeah. Then this one I don't have that much to say about either, but this is it's like very short, kind of gay anime film, just below hour long. Yeah, so it's about these two young guys that are gay and they are in love. There are many other characters in there as well, but yeah, there's not that much to this. Again, it's beautifully animated. There's an interesting gay sex scene in the end, and yeah, yeah, it's good, kind of beautiful, but not nothing like that special in the end. But definitely worth watching. These I just kind of randomly found out about when I was looking like the Boys in Love anime for my queer December. So I found this one. I had never heard of it. It's not that famous, so but it was pretty good. Then yeah, so I watched like in the afternoon in the December or Christmas Eve. I watched this the gay version of Swan Lake, the Tchaikovsky ballet. So it's Matthew Bourne's choreography, and he has done like many different ballets and things for like really famous ballets. He also did um oh fuck what's like I'm only thinking of the Finnish name, Sleeping Beauty, and also the Nutcracker, the other two Tchaikovsky ballets. And I'm thinking of watching his other stuff too, but I started with Swan Lake, and yeah, this was just perfect, beautiful. Again, I'm just starting to get into ballet, so I don't really know much about it, so I can't really talk about how this kind of compares to other version of the Swan Lake or and as I don't know ballet that well, I don't really know whether this is like amazing ballet like or whether people like who are really into ballet would consider this amazing, but I really loved it. Beautiful choreography and again plenty of shirtless guys that I really enjoyed and yeah, the music it goes without saying that Tchaikovsky is Music is absolutely masterful and beautiful. And the music, even if you've never kind of heard the whole ballet, there are definitely scenes in the ballet that you have heard because many of the musical parts of the ballet, you've heard them in like TV commercials and movies and TV shows and stuff like that because they are so famous and you could say even overly used in many forms of media. But yeah, this was so beautiful and it was perfect for Christmas Eve. And when I do the part two for my December watchings, I might have watched the Matthew Bourne choreographed version of Sleeping Beauty, but we'll see. We'll see. That's on YouTube as well, just like this one. By the way, the print was like the picture quality was quite awful, so that took a little away from the experience, but I loved it. And yeah, Tchaikovsky was a genius. And he was gay himself, so just like Matthew Bourne, who choreographed this is. Then I rewatched Lady and the Tramp. I'm not gonna talk about it. I have to say that, yeah, I enjoyed it as always, but yeah, I'm really at the point that I've watched it too many times that it's kind of gotten a bit boring to watch it because when I know absolutely every beat because I've seen it so many times and yeah, but the highlights of the film are always fun. Yeah. Then I rewatched But I'm a Cheerleader. So I've talked about quite a few times, so I'm not really gonna go into it again, other than I want to recommend it to you. It's such a beautiful, tragic but funny movie. And actually, this was my third time watching it, and I finally added it to my favorites list. I felt like it was finally the time to get it there. I had considered adding it before, but now I felt like I liked it enough to put it on my favorites list. So, highly recommend that to everybody. Again, the poster is kind of deceiving, that kind of really cheap looking poster that says, but I'm a cheerleader, but it's actually a really good movie about important topics and it's even quite artsy in a way how it's shot and stuff, so really beautiful. Yeah. But this next one I really loved. I watched it yesterday. Joyland by Saim Sadiq, which was I think Sadiq's feature debut. Sadiq had done some like I think short films if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So this one I think is a short film. I haven't seen it, but it sounded like from the plot that it's quite similar to Joyland. But this is about this young guy who tries to find work and then he finds work at a erotic dance theater as a kind of background dancer to this trans woman that you have in the picture. I also used this shot as a thumbnail for the video for the previous SJS Talks Art episode where I talked about my plans for this month. But yeah, but this scene, by the way, from which this shot is, it's really good scene. Yeah, but I said in that previous SJS Talks Art video that I had really high expectations for this film as it sounded really good, and I wasn't disappointed. It met my high expectations, fortunately, and now I would say this is like top three film of the 2020s so far for me after the two Hamaguchi films that I've talked about. So Drive My Car and Feel of Fortune and Fantasy. After those two, I would put this. Yeah, but even though it's about this queer relationship, it's actually also a lot about this family and the dynamics there, and there are many important characters in this film. And I think it's also more widely about just love and the nature of love, which is nice. But I think definitely the highlight for me was the relationship between this guy and then the trans woman. I really love the performance by both of these actors. Again, the trans character is very again fierce and very kind of individualistic and the performance is so powerful and strong. Yeah. But then the guy gives a bit more of a, I would say, vulnerable performance. I really enjoyed it. Although maybe one thing that I would have liked to see even more in this film is that they would have explored his sexuality a bit more because there is kind of near the end there's this big scene kind of where these two characters are and they kind of give like how do I talk about it without spoiling it, but gives us hints about his sexuality and his sexual nature, but I think they could have gone even more to that direction and explored that more deeply and given a bit more time to that. Yeah, but I think this was such a beautiful and tender movie, beautifully shot as well. And again, like I said last time, this shot I really enjoyed this shot. Yeah, there was some fun dancing sequences here too, and like interesting exploration of the family dynamics and the kind of the clash of these sort of patriarchal conservative culture, and then this again this the clash between that and the trans character and this young guy, and how they kind of fight against that in a way. Yeah, a really beautiful movie. I mean, it's kind of has some cliches in it that maybe pull the quality of the film down a little bit, but again, it's executed in such a beautiful and powerful way that I cannot really complain about the cliches too much. Although you definitely notice some of them. Yeah, but such a great movie. Go watch this one. Give it more support. It really needs more discussion. Again, it's a really good film. Really stands out. Uh, in the kind of cinema that we have gotten from the last few years, and yeah, really great movie. Really great movie. I'm really excited to see what Sadi does next, and I want to watch the short film that had the similar plot than this. Yeah, but yeah, then I today I watched this film on Netflix, another gay film. And this was pretty good, but again, this was another one that was kind of full of cliches, even way more than Joyland. And this also had that kind of Hollywood-esque um, kind of emotional manipulation, even though it's not a Hollywood film. But I like these three characters. Again, it's kind of a love triangle between them. And yeah, these two guys are kind of best friends since they are like really young. But there's this kind of gay element between them and lots of kind of unsaid emotions. So there are some like really beautiful and tender moments here, but they're always kind of, I mean, they're ruined by, but there's this kind of really overbearing music, just kind of like you have in those sentimental Hollywood movies that kind of pull the vibe down a little bit and kind of makes it feel so manipulative and sentimental. Yeah, and this has some like really cool shots as well. Like overall, I think it was kind of beautifully shot. And again, the actors are really good, and it's entertaining movie from start to finish. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was like pretty good. Again, overall well-made movie, but quite cliched and also takes too much from from those Hollywood sentimental and manipulative movies that I'm not a huge fan of. But yeah, those were the movies. Now I'll talk about this anime show that I watched over the past few days and finished it today. So it's called Sekaiichi Hatsukoi. And what was the English title for it? Like World's something boyfriend? Yeah. Um, does it say it anywhere here? I mean, I think when I searched it, it said it here. The world's greatest first love. Okay, yeah. But yeah, this is about these two guys that fell in love when they were in high school. Then they get separated, and then the story starts from when they like 10 years into the future, and one of the guys is this famous editor in a shoujo manga company, but then the other guy goes to work in the manga company, even though he wants to work in like literature, but when he applies for the job, they put him in the manga side of the company. But then these two guys meet and they don't even recognize each other at first. But yeah, then the show is basically them like going back and forth whether they should kind of go into relationship again, or whether they should just be co-workers or and things like that. And then there are other gay characters and their relationships. And I actually kind of liked some of the side stories a bit more than the main story. There was this side story with this kind of very lonely gay guy who has these kind of one night stands, but he cannot commit to anything, and he's like very insecure and stuff. But then he meets this younger gay guy who works in a manga store, and he's like a really good salesman. He sells all the manga that this insecure uh, gay guy has edited, and then they become a relationship. So that was kind of my favorite storyline of the show. But this was really good kind of slice of life drama show. Again, it's situated in the manga company, but then we see their private lives as well. But they work really hard, and then they have these weird gay relationships and some even love triangles and stuff in the show. So this is again a boys in love anime, but it's situated in a adult life and not in high school. Although we see some flashbacks to the high school with these two characters again, Ritsu Onodera and Masumune Takano. Yeah, the animation was good, not perfect but good, and yeah, again entertaining, fun story. Again, I don't have an IMDb account anymore, so I can't rate the stuff here, but I would rate this like 8 out of 10. And I think I'll probably watch this again at some point, and I might read the manga as well. I think there might be more of the manga than this show. And again, this show actually ends in a way that it's not necessarily like a satisfying ending where everything is solved, or it kind of leaves it open in a way. Yeah, but again, it's two seasons. Both the seasons have 12, 20-minute episodes. So yeah, so it's 8 hours in total, approximately. But it's a quick watch. You can definitely binge watch this show. It's kind of easy drama series to watch. Yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Would highly recommend it. Yeah, but let's go to the two album recommendations now. These are fairly kind of popular and highly rated albums in at least in the music nerd community. So if you are a music nerd, the chances are that you know these all of these albums already. But yeah, so the first one is Magdalene by FKA Twigs, one of my favorite artists working today. So this album, I've liked it since I first heard it, but in the past week or so, I've been going back to this album, and it finally kind of fully clicked with me, and now I consider this to be an all-time favorite and a perfect album. Because before this, again, her first album, LP1, that you see here in the left corner, was my favorite, and that's been one of my favorite albums of all time for quite a while now. But this album didn't live up to LP1 to me when I first heard this, but now it's just for some reason really like fully clicked with me, and now I just absolutely adore this album too. And now this might actually be my favorite, but I think LP1 and Magdalena are both modern art pop masterpieces, incredibly beautiful. So I don't really have to choose which one I like more because I love both of them. And I think BHS said to me that he likes both of these albums too, but Magdalene was his favorite. So BHS, I think you were right. I'm sorry that I was wrong, but I apologize, and I'm glad that we can be doppelgangers in this regard too now. Yeah. XOXO, hugs and kisses. Yeah. But yeah, this has so many beautiful songs, beautiful production. It sounds so good, and her voice with all the quirks and all the different singing styles, and yeah, it's so beautiful. But this song I absolutely adore, "Home with You." Yeah. I didn't know that you were lonely. Yeah. It sounds so beautiful. Yeah. The whole track list is great. Cellophane is obviously very beautiful song. I really enjoy Fallen Alien. But I like all of the songs. And this is just one of those really vibey albums that makes you daydream. Like I've been daydreaming to this, and also the next album that I'm gonna talk about in a bit a lot. Yeah. So beaches when we go to Florence, I think Home With You should be part of our honeymoon soundtrack. Yeah, it's so beautiful. Yeah. Um, but yeah, this album has some like lots of Kate Bush vibes, and obviously there's Björk vibes in all of FK Twigs music, and yeah, yeah, absolutely perfect record. I'm really looking forward to seeing what she does next. Although I still need to listen to the um like this mixtape, couple songs that apparently at least here it's not rated as highly, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Oh, and I guess I haven't heard these EPs either, so I need to listen to those as well. But yeah, hopefully more albums to come sometime soon. Yeah. Again, I don't know whether she's working on an album now or whether she's touring or taking a break or whatever, but I'm pretty confident that she will give us more great albums in the future. Yeah. What a great artist. I was watching like the Tiny Desk concert today as well, where she performed Home With You and other songs. And what a great performance that was. So hopefully, if you are a FK Twigs fan, hopefully you can also watch that on YouTube. Yeah. But this one I actually kind of rediscovered last night when I was actually listening to FK Twigs, and then I was on Tidal, and then I had there is the related album section when you scroll down when you are listening to an album, and then this was their Mercurial World by Magdalena Bay that I haven't listened to since 2021 when it came out. And 2021 was the year when I was kind of really getting into pop music and again getting rid of my genre elitism. So this was one of the albums I listened to that year. And I liked that album that year, but I didn't love it. But now that I've listened to it again, and now that I'm way more well versed with pop music and all types of music, and now that this type of music is among my favorite types of music, I like this album quite a lot more now, and I now think that's probably gonna become an all-time favorite, but I'm gonna listen to it a bit more before I say that. But it's certainly very close, and yeah, this is such beautiful kind of candy floss synth pop type of thing. And the thing about both this and FK Twigs is that they both are kind of very nostalgic sounding albums, but they also sound well, like very kind of current and futuristic as well. So they are kind of onward looking, but also they definitely you can see the influences from the past. But I think those types of albums are usually among the best that again you can hear the influence, but they are also taking that sound to a different direction. So there's lots of familiarity, but also lots of new beautiful things to discover in these both of these albums. So that's one of the things I really like about them. And this has absolutely perfect production. It sounds so big and beautiful and upbeat, and the vocals are absolutely divine and heavenly. Love them, and the songs are so catchy. Yeah, what a great album, and I'm not surprised why it's so highly rated because it's so good. And I think this is one of those albums that can kind of appeal to pretty much everybody. Yeah, yeah. Secrets Your Fire is a great song. Cherry is a great song. Something for Two is great. Yeah, great listen. Yeah. By the way, Peaches, I think if you haven't listened to this album, I don't know whether you have. But I think this would definitely be up your alley if you haven't listened to this. Yeah. And I've actually, as I've been daydreaming a lot in December, and after this kind of romance daydream that I have had, which I've kind of been thinking that it might be a good movie, but it's this kind of gay romance story. And in the middle of the movie, there's this kind of dance scene where the two guys are in a like a living room in that story, and um, they're looking at each other, and they are gonna dance together. And I think this album would be a perfect soundtrack for that scene in that movie. Yeah, that I maybe I'm gonna make someday. I mean, I'm not gonna be a filmmaker, but I sometimes come up with these stories. Yeah, so yeah, I was just thinking of that when I was listening to that this would be perfect for that scene. Yeah. I just got a phone call, so that's why I was looking at there, but I'm not gonna answer it now. But yeah, beautiful album that even make me think of that daydream or a movie idea or a book idea or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, great album. Would recommend this to everybody and to beaches. Yeah. But then I read this manga. Again, I have this physical copy. And it's the same edition that you see in the Goodreads as well. Yeah. So I've had this physical edition for a few months now, but I now just read it finally. And this was really, really good. Again, it's just this one volume. There aren't any more volumes. It's just this 200 plus pages long manga and about this high school romance, but it's a queer manga. Hence, it was a good read for this time of the year for me. Yeah. So it explores again the idea of gender. One of there's this cis guy there, and he falls in love with this other person who is questioning their gender, and they have like lots of trauma in their past and lots of loneliness and bad relationships and stuff. But then they have this romance and they end up together. And yeah, it's a sweet, powerful high school romance manga, well written. There's even some humor there. Like I think it beautifully drawn, good dialogue, great characters. Again, it's quite short. I This was the first time I read this type of like one volume manga. I've only read in the past like these longer stories, so this was something new for me. But I'm really glad that I had bought this and now read it, and I'm definitely gonna read it again. Yeah, I mean it feels maybe a bit didactic in a way because it talks a lot about gender and things like that. And again, I don't personally need that lecture as I'm queer myself, but I think this would be a good read for like teenagers who are questioning these things and need some guidance with these things. I think it would be good for people like that. But I also enjoyed reading it, even though it was a bit didactic. But yeah, beautiful manga. Yeah, would highly recommend this one. But then, last but not least, I'm gonna talk about the dream that I had. This was actually in the morning of Christmas Eve, so day before yesterday. So I had kind of woken up at 8:30 in the morning, but then I went back to bed and then I had this dream. And I only was asleep after that for like an hour, but it felt like way more because the dream was so long. And this dream actually started with something that wasn't related to Tale of Winter. I actually can you if you have listened to some of my podcasts recently, you've heard me talking shit about Jordan Peterson, who I'm not a fan of at all. Again, I'm not into right-wing conspiracy theories or carnivore diet or hatred for trans people. So I don't like Jordan Peterson. But as I have been talking so much shit about him recently, I actually had a dream where I took a class with him and Dave Rubin, and it was quite disturbing. And in that dream, Jordan Peterson was like, and he wasn't angry at me. He was just, we were kind of just talking calmly about the fact that I had been talking shit about him and me taking his lectures and stuff. That was like very short dream. Then when I escaped that lecture, I was transported in this very dark, big house. I was sitting in a dark room in a sofa. But then there was this kind of thing that I was watching A Tale of Winter, or it actually started, like I'm trying to remember, it started like with me being inside this movie, this story of Tale of Winter. But that was just a brief thing. Then I was transported into this sofa where I was sitting watching this movie. So it's actually a bit similar to some of my Twin Peaks dreams. But then there was this sense of dread when I was sitting in the sofa again. Like I said, it was really dark. And apparently there was somebody coming after me. It was apparently like an ex-boyfriend of mine. Again, I think because I actually, before like Christmas Eve, I read the manga. And in that manga that I just talked about, there was this again the father of the guy in the manga, like had a very complicated relationship with his wife and the mother of the main character, and he apparently like kind of left them or something, and he wasn't in love with the mother of his son anymore and stuff like that. So I can feel like that maybe came to this dream as well. Because the guy in the dream actually in my dream looked a bit similar than the character in the manga. Yeah. So I was sitting in the sofa and there was a door on my left, but also a door on my right, and I was kind of looking like this. I was looking at the movie and then looking left and right to see like where is that guy coming from because he's gonna kill me. And then the guy came. I actually saw like two scenes. Once he came from the left, and once he came from the right, and he had this kind of suit jacket on him, and he was a bit wet because it was raining outside, and he looked like really startled and stuff. But he didn't do anything to me. But it was a really, really weird dream where A Tale of Winter by Eric Rohmer was a part of the dream. I don't again remember every single thing about the dream, but that was kind of the gist of it. Yeah, but a weird dream, another weird dream, or two dreams if you count the Jordan Peterson one as a separate dream. Yeah, but anyway, don't go on the carnivore diet. Don't believe in conspiracy theories and explore great works of art, whether it's music, painting, manga, literature, or film. And yeah, have a great rest of the year. Again, it's soon gonna be 2024. Hopefully, it's gonna be a great year. But I'm gonna do a second part to this, like I said, and hopefully you enjoyed this one. And let me know what you think of these albums, films, or TV shows, or manga. Let me know what you think of my dream. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't drink all the coke. Sayonara and arigato gozaimashita.